Do you think of yourself as a resilient person? Maybe you put the word resilient into your cover letters, into your CV, highly resilient, highly motivated, and good under pressure. maybe you say something like that. And maybe it's completely true. But I thought we should talk about this because I realized for myself that resilience has actually become, instead of it being a strength as it should be, it's actually become more of a limiting belief for me that's blocked me from getting career success for many years. And I've seen the same pattern happen with a number of my clients and a lot of people I know. So maybe it's happening for you too, but really what I see people doing, including myself, is trying to be resilient all the time, and in the process, putting yourself, or not taking control of a difficult situation, not getting yourself out of a difficult situation because deep down you feel like, well, I need to be resilient. I need to be strong. I need to get through this. But what I have come to realize is that life is hard enough without dealing with difficult situations when there's actually a way out. And, the best examples of these are, for example, toxic work environments where maybe you're putting up with a toxic work environment, boss is awful, people are awful to you, etc. But you'd feel like, well, I shouldn't just leave, I should stick around a little while longer, maybe it'll improve, you kind of justify things, maybe it's not so bad, when really you'd be so much happier getting yourself just out of that situation and building a new situation where you don't really need to be that resilient because you have nice people and they think you're great. This actually happened recently with one of my clients. Like, he was struggling for many years, and all of a sudden we redid his things we usually do, redid his cover letter, thought about his branding, thought about his direction, got all those things aligned. Next job he got, he's just working with these wonderful people who are pretty laid back. They don't give him a ton of work to do, and he gets it done pretty fast and so easily. He even has time for a second job, so he can now double his income, and the first job was already paying him well, and he's not a slacker. They're actually really happy with his work. And some people hear that story and they go, well, Dahlia, that sounds like he's lazy, and that sounds like he's a slacker, and some of us here are working hard and being resilient. And that's great if it's working for you and if it's making you happy. And we all need a certain amount of challenge in our lives. I'm not saying be lazy and have no challenge and just find the easiest job possible. That's not what I'm saying. But there are situations out there where you can be doing the thing that you're really good at that doesn't feel like a massive chore to do. Like, you can actually enjoy doing it. There'll still be a challenge there, but the challenge should feel like something that makes you grow. It's like when you go to the gym and you're lifting weights. It's a challenge. It builds up your resilience, but it's something that's making you stronger, and it's something that you want to do. It's not like a horrible situation that you're just having to drag yourself through and put up with. And same thing, like if you're playing a sport, right? There's challenge, you're learning, you should be getting better at the sport every time you go to practice. And it's interesting, it's engaging your mind and body. Work should be the same thing. It's interesting, engaging, growing you, yes, challenging you, but it's not like draining you and ripping you apart, or just something that you're having to dread every day and tell yourself, well, at least I am resilient, at least I am a survivor. And the truth is as well, and I mean, you probably know this, you've probably been through some life crises as well, and you know that in life, there's enough tragedy already that you don't need to also put yourself or not get yourself out of situations when you could get yourself out of those difficult situations. If you haven't had a life crisis yet, I'm not to be a negative person, but you will have a life crisis at some point, and or multiple ones, and that's just how it is. That is life. But there's no need to stay in a job that is subpar, that's not giving you the life that you want, just because you feel like you should be resilient and you should be strong, and jobs are not supposed to be fun, and jobs are not even supposed to be easy, or people, you can't be with wonderful people who just tell you, oh, your work is great, you're amazing, you're cool, we like you. Like, for some people that's such a foreign concept, to work with people who would be that nice, that it's hard to imagine, but that does exist. It can happen, and usually it's not a case of being as resilient as possible and one day you'll get to the dream job. It's actually a case of saying, you know what, I'm done with being resilient. I'm just going to go and get the job where people actually like me, people appreciate my work, they're ready to pay me double what I'm being paid right now. There you go. No resilience needed. The only resilience needed is getting over the limiting belief that you need to be resilient and you need to put up with those kinds of things. That's the hard part, where you need the resilience to get yourself through those kind of mental roadblocks sometimes. So anyway, I just feel like this is a big block that's still holding a lot of people back. And I think the best thing to do, and this is what I'm doing for myself as well, is to think about the kind of challenges that I want for myself, because we all need to choose your battles, choose the challenges that you want for yourself, choose your problems. We can't survive without problems. We love problems. Look at the person who has zero problems. They will start complaining about like the color of the neighbor's grass and stuff like that, right? Because they want problems. We all want problems. But what you want to do is upgrade your problems. Choose the problems you want to have. If you don't want your problem to be sleeping 5 hours a night and having a toxic boss and doing a bunch of admin work when that's not your main job, or anything like that, then get out of there and get yourself into the thing where you're not just surviving, but you're really growing yourself in the way that you would want. Because it definitely is possible. Probably doesn't need to be as hard as some people make it out to be. So let me know below, what's your experience with the idea of resilience? I am really curious to hear how you are kind of navigating through that whole theme. And who is also still putting highly resilient on their cover letter. And I will see you in the next little video.